one thing that you've done with your career is you've managed to turn what you do for play into a revenue stream, a source of income. I love that quote from Alan Watts. How do you find a way to get paid to play? And it's really difficult. And a lot of people think if you try, and I've heard an example from people who love photography, where if you try and turn that hobby into a living, you have to deal with all kind of constraints about, you know, you have to fulfill the client's needs, you have to edit their photos, and it just takes all the fun out of the art of just taking a photo. And yeah, so I'd just like to get into, you know, how you got started in BJJ, because you're a black belt now, which is
black belt in jiu-jitsu,
monumental, lifetime achievement award. Like, but yeah, how did you get started in it? Like?
So I've been working in the fitness industry kind of over 10 years. Some personal trainer, neuromuscular therapist, yoga teacher, and then black belt in jiu-jitsu. So kind of they're my kind of 4 different kind of avenues that I focus on. And kind of each one of them started off as just something I enjoy doing. So kind of go back to when I was like a teenager, I always played kind of soccer and Gaelic. I was really into sports, and then I was kind of very kind of skinny and small when I was younger, and that kind of led me towards wanting to go to the gym and kind of bulk up, lift weights. And my uncle, who he's kind of a good mentor for me and good inspiration. He's like an Ironman triathlon. He used to be into bodybuilding and all, and he was always lifting weights.
Hercules.
And, Hercules, He-Man.
Yeah.
But he kind of took me under his wing with the weights, and made me my first program and brought me to the gym a couple of times, showed me how to lift weights, and then I kind of got into it from there when I was about 15, and I started off with that and started seeing progress over time, started realizing that like if you apply yourself to something consistently over a period of time, you'll start improving and start seeing changes, start getting stronger, build the muscle, you know what I mean? You start seeing the weights go up, and you're like, holy God, like, Jesus, this works. Like, it's very tangible, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can see it. Like, you can see your body changing.
Totally, you know what I mean? Whereas, let's say in school, I always kind of found it hard to apply myself academically. And then if I did try and it didn't see something, if I didn't get the result back, you're kind of like thinking this doesn't work, sort of thing.
You're working over a small sample size. So it's just very tangible with the gym, and I really liked that, and I kind of got really into that, and I was doing that for years then. So that was always like a passion then, was going to the gym, lifting weights. And kind of when I was younger, when I was like 15, I think like my first job, I done like garden landscaping, and it was horrific. I done it for about 2 weeks, and it was just a lot of manual labor. It was just like, which you think I would have liked, because I like training, but I found out from that job that I just don't like doing manual labor. I don't like it on my hand. These hands weren't made for that type of work. I just wasn't into it, like shoveling all day. At least you found out though.
Yeah, I found out early, you know what I mean? That exposure was good, like back breaking work, like wheelbarrow, shoveling all day, for weeks on end. And then eventually I think I got let go from my lack of work ethic. I think there was one day I was I think one of the lads called in sick, and they had like 3 different jobs at the time, and there were 6 of us on the team, and we got split into 2s. And the guy that I was normally with was gone, and he was the one that could do I could do hardly anything. I was just used to help him. Like he'd be building a deck, and I'd be basically just handing them screws for him to drill them in. That's how, like, that's all I had. I had no skill set, you know what I mean? But he was like, he could do loads of cool stuff. But he was sick that day. I got designated to kind of plant all these different flowers around the garden, and I had like 8 hours to do it. I remember the boss came back after about 6 hours, and I'd only like half them done, and a lot of them were planted in the wrong place, and all. He went mental. And then I was shortly I was finishing up after like another day or two of that, but I was delighted. Then I got another job. I think I worked in the glass houses for like, I think I done 1 day like picking lettuce, and that was that. Like I think that was with one of my kind of uncle-in-laws, and that was that. Then I got another job. I was working in like picking tomatoes in the glass house, but I actually liked that because the hours were like 6 to 12. It was just a short morning, and you got paid per crate. So like I like the fact that if I go in and if that day I wasn't feeling like I was gonna do much, it's like I'm not making much money today.
Yeah.
Other days I'd go in and I'm like loads of energy. I'll do loads. I'll make more money, and it's I kind of like that in a weird way.
Yeah. You get out what you put in.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I kind of like that because
Yeah.
if you're just getting, even though it's probably better to get per hour, like in hindsight, but I felt like with the per hour at that point when I was younger and I had no work ethic, it was like I was under pressure then to do more. Whereas if I wasn't picking tomatoes and I was just doing feck all that morning, I was losing out really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. So I done that for a good summer, and then after that, I think when if you fast forward a bit, I was when I finished school, I kind of went to college. I done like football association up in Finglas. So that was like a football kind of course. The idea was that you would go over to America and try and get a scholarship to a college in America.
Yeah, the American dream. Like,
the American dream. And
has anyone have any footballers like got a professional career from that path?
So very few, but some like Stephen Beattie from Scares.
Oh, he did it.
He done it. He was a good success story.
Local hero.
Yeah. But there's been other guys that have done well. Gone over there and become coaches and stuff like that. Like there's a few.
Yeah, there's many different paths. Yeah.
A few others I could name. Like, and then I think there's a fella I would have went to college 3 years ago that I think's doing well over there now. He's not in the MLS, but he's in that other the USL or United States Soccer League, or I don't know I don't know what the abbreviation means, but yeah, there is.
Yeah,
but,
that's good. Yeah.
The thing is with that, like you do like the SATs on that course, so you're doing like the American Leaving Cert, all that stuff, but
with multiple choice, is it?
Yeah, so you do like maths, English, and then there's a third part. It's like an essay, but some of the it was only kind of new, so some of the colleges didn't really kind of look at that. They just wanted your score between the maths and the English. But the same as me leaving, sir, I just didn't really apply myself. I didn't study or nothing. Just showed up and just hope for the best, like. And done that course, went over. We done well in the tournament. The two teams won, and I got like there was like kind of 3 different options I had to go over and do a scholarship. So like one of them was in New York, which was brilliant because my dad lived in New York, and I was like, this is the one. Like, and I met the coach when I was over there. He was from like Northern Ireland, and I was like, this is it. Like, but I was I think you need like 1,000 points in your SATs, and I had 990. This without the essay, so I was 10 points off, and that affects how much money they can knock off, like the fucking tuition every year. So he was like, oh yeah, no, I can work around that, it'd be grand, blah blah blah. But then it turned out like it was going to be like 20, it was like 15, I can't remember what it was, 15, 20 grand a year. I was like only gone 18. I was like, it's crazy money, like I'd have to take out a loan now. So that was off the cards. Then there was another option down in where was it Kentucky or no, it wasn't Kentucky, Georgia, and what was the other one? I think it was no, it wasn't Kentucky. One of the states down there. I can't remember which one it was off the top of my head now, but like same thing, like 3, 4, 5 grand a year, and like one of them was like real religious college. Like I remember I went on the website, the one in Georgia, and like a Bible just opened on the front page, and it's just like there's no there's not a chance I got here. Like, so I was like, that's that. So then kind of after, I didn't have a plan after that. So after I'd done my leaving cert, I knew I was going to do the soccer course, and I was thinking maybe go to America, but none of that kind of worked out because, like, in hindsight, looking back, I just didn't apply myself academically or even with the soccer. Like, I didn't take it serious, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you just didn't care about it, really.
No,
like,
and I kind of half wanted to go. I wasn't all in at all. Like, knowing, like, what I know now and about applying yourself and being consistent, discipline, and doing, like, literally giving your best effort, like, looking back, that was nowhere near my best effort, like, do you know what I mean? And then, like, it was even, like, did you even want to go?
Yeah,
or did it just sound good?
Yeah, like it's like an idea that just you just plant in your head. It's like, that might be worth doing. Yeah, without actually even giving it any real thought, like sitting down and really considering all the options.
Absolutely. So then after that, then it was kind of like, right, what am I going to do now? And I had an option on that course to do you could do like a second year, and it was like sports and leisure management. Because on that course there was some kind of health and fitness aspects like that we do in fitness class and all. So you got some kind of qualifications to do physical training with people, but I don't know, I just wasn't interested. I kind of wanted to get out of that college. I didn't want to go that path. So then I was like, what else am I interested in? And I was like, I've always kind of interested in computers and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, right, let's try this. So I went to NTI and signed up for like a honours degree in computer programming.
Yeah. National College of Ireland.
National College of Ireland, shout out.
IFSC, baby.
Yeah, IFSC, baby. And I went there, and the same kind of problems occurred from the previous years of school and my that year in college.
I got to witness them as well down in the student union.
Yeah, exactly. It was all about just like, there was a gym there, so it was all about going to the gym in the morning and then going down to the student union and playing pool, FIFA and table tennis.
Yeah, the trifecta.
And I was just down there and like not going to class and not doing my modules.
And there was you didn't get docked any marks if you missed a lecture, so attendance wasn't mandatory. So I went to the same college, same time. And I remember days where we went in to Burger King, got the breakfast bap. Like, we got the 33X, the first bus that leaves at 7 in the morning. Get off at Conley, Burger King, get the Paddy, go to fucking NCI gym, do a workout, and then just get like the first train home or the first bus home. And you're home at like 9:30, 10.
Outrageous.
You've had a full day of college.
Outrageous. Like, it's just outrageous. Like, once you went to the gym and that, was kind of like, oh, well, that's it. Or if a new like Call of Duty game came out, you'd get that.
Oh, you get the game,
The game,
Collect
it was just
secure
like,
the bag, like.
So what happened from there was I done the first year, and I think I'd passed all the assignments and all. I just got by and everything, and then I had like 4 or 5 exams, and like this was the first year and only year that they had this new kind of marking criteria that you had to pass the assignments and the exams.
Oh yeah.
Even if your overall score, like when you combined the two, was above the passing mark, you weren't allowed to fail anything.
Yeah.
And I think I failed one of the exams. I can't remember what it was in, but I failed one of the exams, and therefore I would have to repeat it. And that summer I'd gone out with a friend over to my dad who lives in New York, so we're over there basically on like a J1 for like 3 months or whatever. And like, I got the news like about 6 weeks into that 3 months that I'd failed. And my friend that was with me, shout out to Dean Carroll, he was doing the course as well, and he'd passed. And then it was just like, it was just like my holiday is coming to an end. Like, I had to make a decision, like, you know what I mean? And I had to do a lot of self-reflection while I was over there. And I was like, right, am I going to cut this short and go home and study and try pass and get the second year?
Do the repeat,
Yeah, and it's like so much sacrifice, and it's like, how bad, like, is my heart in this? It's like, is computers for me? You know what I mean? That was the question I asked myself while I was in New York having the time of my life.
Yeah, you're just sitting at a bar, like, just like, is this for me?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Making all this money, like, having a great time, going out partying, fucking. Live like fucking New York City, or fucking, what age was I, 18 or 19? And you can only imagine when I was getting up to. And it was like the whole world's there. You know what I mean? Like 24/7. And I was just like,
I'll come back to my old life.
Yeah, do I want to go home and study for this exam? And then the question I asked after that was like, do I want to do computer programming? Like, can I see myself sitting at a desk on the computer the rest of my life? Even though I enjoy a lot of elements of it, you know what I mean? I like the creative aspect and stuff, like creating things, like when you're building websites and design and stuff. I still like all that stuff to this day. Like, I still enjoy it, but I was like, is this passion for me? Is this something that I love enough to dedicate all this time to? And use it as my career? And the more I thought about it, I was like, it's not. And then I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? Like, it's like, what is my passion? What's been there? like the whole time for me that I always fall back to, that I enjoy, and it was like sports and like physical fitness and training.
Yeah.
So then I was like, right, well maybe I should try that then. Let's pursue that and see if that's the road. You know what I mean? Like we've tried various things here. Oh, and I forgot to say, when I was in New York, I was working in the kitchens. Like, so I was basically seeing what it was like to be a chef as well while I was over there, because I was already one foot was out of the program, and at this point, you know, even before I'd failed, you know what I mean? I was just gonna keep going though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was trying. My dad's a chef, like, so that was always another option. And even when I was younger, when I was like 15, 16, I used to go over to New York and work in the kitchens with him for a few weeks here and there. So I had a good bit of experience in the kitchen. And I like cooking and I enjoy cooking, and I was kind of like, well, maybe this could be it, you know what I mean? Maybe I could try this. So when I was on the J1, I was trying that as well to see what it was like. Then obviously I failed the exam, so then I was like, right, I'm gonna have to cut this short and go home. And then I was like, when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, do I want to be a chef then? Do you know what I mean? Or do it, and then the fitness as well. So it was kind of the two options, you know what I mean? And obviously I decided not to go back and do the repeat. I was like, I'm not going. Like, it's over. So I told my dad, I rang my mother up. I was like, I'm not coming back and doing that. I'm dropping out the course. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, even though it was one exam, everything else was passed. I was ready to go to second year. Like, I mean, it was a tough decision. Like,
especially there's the thing about dropping out. There's a lot of social pressure involved. Your parents.
There's no failed.
That's the end of it.
And failed on the football course as well. So two failures in a row.
What, 18, 19?
Yeah, and even my leaving cert was a bit of a failure. I totally underachieved. Do you know what I mean? Because I already knew I was getting on that football course, the PLC course already, and I didn't have any points to aim for or
right. Yeah.
You know, but the drive wasn't there regardless. Even if the points were there, the drive wasn't there. So then I decided, right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a course. I'm going to do a personal training course and gym instruction. And I'll just keep saving up while I'm in New York. So I'm making a lot of money here. And I wouldn't make this type of money this quick if I was back in Ireland. So I was like, I need to make the most of this. So I just started saving. Found the course in it was in DCU by Little Lane, and it was personal training gym instructor, and that was going to start in I think it was going to start in like September. So I was still in New York for the whole summer, finished in August, came home, paid for that course, signed up, done the whole course, came around, and then my uncle, who I mentioned earlier, he owns a gym in town in Baggot Street, Aort Fitness, and he was like, well, if you do well in your course and apply yourself and show you're serious about it, he'd give me like a part-time job to kind of start off and go from there then. So
use that network.
So that was dangled in front of me. So there was now a pathway for me. You know what I mean? There was something to do. I definitely knew I didn't want to be a chef because I was working 6 days a week in the kitchen in New York, in this mad busy kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
And like it was rough. It was like it was a great experience though. It was kind of like the landscape, and it was like, this isn't what I want to do sort of experience. And I think people need that.
To get a taste for what's for you and not for you.
Taste loads of different things, especially when you're younger. Try all the different things first. Like if you have a couple of different, like I think we all have ideas of things that we'd like to do. And a lot of the times people don't ever pursue it, and it stays this fantasy in their head, and it's always there. And it's like, you need to kind of try realize the fantasy, and soon enough you will know if it's for you or not. You know what I mean? Like so when I was in the kitchen, like after doing like 2 months of this, like 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, like hot kitchen, like the summer in New York, really humid, heat waves, I'm standing in front of an oven, I'm dishwashing, and like I remember one of the days I kind of got promoted to doing like the brunch menu at the weekend, and I used to do like pancakes, croque madams, all this sort of stuff. And there was one day they were just so busy, the ticket machine was beside me, and it just started coming down. And it just kept coming down, and it kept coming down. I went to the floor. It was nearly like running out the door. Jeez. We got a heap of orders in one go, and I was just standing there, and I just like froze in time. You know when you see like in a war movie when like the grenades are going off and explosions. They're like shell shocked. Everyone goes into slow motion.
Your ears are ringing. Like,
yeah, that's what it was like. And I was turning. I remember my dad was there. Like he's the executive chef, run the whole kitchen. Like I remember he was just there, kind of shouting over me. I couldn't even hear him. I could just see him. Like it was all in slow motion. Yeah, and it was just like so overwhelming. Like it was just like I just froze at time. Like and. I eventually kind of snapped out of it then and sped up again, and then I just started going for it, and one of the lads was working, one of the Mexican lads jumped in and just started helping me. We just went at it and we got it.
You just attacked it.
We got through it, but like these like any chef or anyone that's working in the kitchen, a busy one especially, and still does, they'll know about it. You get these surges of adrenaline and it's just go, 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 and then you crash down and then you go. And especially when you're doing the evening shifts, like you come home and you're wired. Like, it's like you've been in a nightclub or something. You're just like wired, and then you're trying to get asleep and then you're up the next morning. It's a hard go. It's a hard go.
Real unsocial hours as well.
Yeah, like, the Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights are like your biggest nights, or even the Sundays as well. Tough. It's a hard go, and like I was still training when I was over there. I was going to the gym. I was going to Gold's Gym. It's actually a deadly gym in Manhattan, and I was going there maybe 3 times a week. Like, but I mean, after work, like I love training, like, and I always make time for it. It's a priority for me. I have to train, and during this time I was so exhausted, like, and I still made myself go to the gym. I always went, but I mean I was dragging my knuckles going, and I'd go in and I was exhausted, and I'd do like a half-ass sort of workout, and then I'd leave, and then I'd be even more tired the next day. So the days that I trained, the following day, I mean I was useless. I was so tired in the kitchen, like I was knackered, like, and I was noticeably, my performance was way lower, like. And it was just like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean?
It's a great way to find out early.
100%, like, and I think people that haven't worked in the kitchen don't understand how hard it is, and so much goes into it, because like some people can like cooking, which I do like cooking, but like cooking a meal for yourself versus trying to like do 300 orders a night or whatever, and like you need like this fluid, well-oiled machine that is able to produce the same consistency every time. So when you cook a steak or a burger or whatever it is, it needs to be the same standard every time. You have to replicate this every time and keep the standard high. That's how you keep a good restaurant, you know what I mean? And it's just, there's so many moving parts. You have so many different people in the kitchen. Everyone's stressed. There's just so much going on.
And you're so reliant on other people as well. Like, let's say if someone calls in sick, or one of your best man or woman, like, just decides to quit. And the other thing as well, so you have the kitchen staff and then you have the floor staff, and it's like the kitchen is in there, that's the engine, and that's going hard in there, trying to pump out good food, keep it at well, if it's a good restaurant, they're trying to keep the level very high, you know what I mean? So that takes a lot of you have to be very specific, you know what I mean, and detailed. So you're pumping out the food, but then if the floor staff are lacking and all over the place, then they're messing up the orders. They're fucking bringing them to the wrong table, you know what I mean? And they're breaking that chain, you know what I mean? So then you've made a great steak, and then they didn't order a steak. They made a shot.
And then it gets sent back, and then you have to order something else, and that fucks up the whole system.
And you're still working on the other orders.
New orders are coming in, and you're trying to backdate the other order, and then you're trying to cancel off the machine. Everyone's confused, and it's a
war zone.
It's a war zone. It is. It's a war zone.
In a busy restaurant.
It's so stressful, and I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just more kind of laid back, relaxed, like, it just doesn't suit my personality, I don't think either.
And some people who are wired for that would love it.
Yeah, totally, they love it, like, and it's just, I just think the hours as well just didn't suit me either. But so it was a great experience. It was unreal, like, it was unreal. And so when I came back then to Ireland, then I got a job in like a cafe, and then I was doing the course as well. So I was like, I think I was working like I think I was working full time for a few months, and then when I started the course, I think I started the course mid-October. I was doing that was like 3 days a week, and then I was doing 3 days a week in the cafe as well, sometimes 4. So I kind of had maybe 1 day off a week, or sometimes none. And I done that for like, I think it was like 9 to 12 months. Just went around, like the course went right around. It wasn't the typical academic year.
Just all through the
just
year,
straight around,
summer,
so I just worked the whole time and studied. Like, I just grinded, like 1 day off. So like, you have to do it sometimes, you know what I mean? You just have to make it happen.
You have to sacrifice it all sometimes.
Yeah, ideally, if you're studying, I feel, or you're trying to educate yourself, you're doing a course, like in the ideal world, you could just focus on studying to give it everything you have and learn as much as you can. But in the reality, when you have to make money and you have to pay bills and buy food and all these different things, like, and have a quality of life as well, you have to work for it as well. So I was trying to balance those two, and then once I qualified, like that job, I was at the end of that. Then, like that just served me at that point. I was just done with that. It was way total stepping stone, but it was way less stress than like being in New York. So I always had that comparison.
Yeah.
So a stressful day in the cafe was nothing. It was nothing compared to New York. Even though the people that I would have worked with, if they were having a big surge, it was like 7 orders versus like 40.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? In New York, it's different game.
And it's morning or afternoon.
Yeah,
as well,
yeah,
like,
you know what I mean. It
probably
was
more energy.
It was just a different game. You know what I mean? And it was grand. And then I qualified. Then my uncle kind of gave me. I think I started off kind of part time, a couple of days a week. I'd like, I think 1 or 2 clients. I was doing personal training, like, so I just went straight into personal training. And I've never actually done gym instruction and worked in a big gym. I've always worked like private training, one-on-one personal training. I've always done that. So I was lucky in that way. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of people will have to go to kind of your commercial gyms or your franchise gyms like FlyFit and stuff like that, and kind of go in there, do all the classes and try and build their clients up slowly, and maybe get out of the commercial open space gym where everyone's there and get into the private stuff. Because with personal training, there's kind of, if personal training, then you have like private personal training. They're actually very different. Like, so if you're doing like the private stuff, it's just you and the trainer in a room together, and you have a studio or whatever, and you have all the equipment. It's just the two of you. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's more like, I think that's more premium level stuff. Whereas
of course,
where the other one, you're in an open gym, everyone's there training away, and then you're there with your client, train them in front of people. And some people want the privacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't want to be in that open environment. But for others, they don't mind it. You know what I mean? So it just depends on the person.
Yeah.
So I got into that. I was doing like maybe I had like one client. I got my uncle gave me like one client to start, or 2 clients. Started from there, and was doing like 2 evenings a week. And I used to like obviously I live in Rush, so I used to have to like cycle from my house to the train station, get the train down into Pierce Street, and kind of cycle from there to the gym, do one session, lock the gym, cycle back, get the train back, and go home.
You just had one client, like.
Yeah. So that's where it started. So I was losing money going in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was very determined, and I wanted to make a career out of it. After experiencing the other careers, I was like, I'm willing to do anything to not have to do that. I'm not going back to the kitchen. I'm not going back doing landscape, and I'm not going into any glass houses. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna push myself here and try make this happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it always starts from just one client, like.
Yeah,
like
you have to start somewhere. But some
have...
people aren't willing to start at that point, though.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
Yeah.
It's like you need to go back to the very beginning, and like whatever pride you have, or this idea of entitlement, or what you think you deserve, or I'm better than this, like forget all that. Just start at the start.
Exactly.
And build up, like, so like I had no experience. The only experience I had was like do my own training, and then I did train some of my friends throughout the years. Like, you used to go down to the shed, I would all train together. Summer, I was always into that for years. But that's not like I don't even, when I say I've been in fitness industry over 10 years, I don't count any of that stuff. Like, technically it's 15 or 16 years then, if you were to count all that.
Yeah, like lifting weights out the back.
Professionally over 10 years. You know what I mean?
When people are paying you for your services.
Yes. So, where's it going? Yeah, so started off with 1, and then got 2, start building it up. And like, I remember even when I started, I used to be so nervous talking to people, like, because a lot of it with personal training is just talking. It's interpersonal skills, just communicating with someone. It's not even just the exercises.
The knowledge about
it's like
the physical side of
like,
it.
can you, like, you're basically on like sort of in a weird way this sort of like fitness date or something. You know what I mean? It's like, is there together? You know what I mean? Is there together for an hour in a room, and I'm gonna bring you through some exercise. We're gonna do a training session.
And it's real intimate as well, like real personal.
100%, yeah.
They're very vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and it's like, especially if someone's overweight and they're kind of very conscious of their body, and maybe their confidence isn't very high at the time. Do you know what I mean? It's a big step. It's a big step for them to step into the gym and even pursue personal training. So I think as the trainer, you need to respect that. You need to respect the fact that they've walked in the door. So you kind of need to give them their best and try and build them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And show them the way. So like, yeah, so starting from there, I remember I was just so nervous in the beginning. Like, I'd be just so nervous doing the whole thing, and then trying to even remember the workouts and like all sorts.
Yeah, well, you're trying to balance the personal side of it.
Yeah, so it's just so much going. And then you're trying to, time management is so big as well, especially when you have multiple clients like back to back to back to back. Your time management of each workout and like leading into the next one, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on that gets unnoticed.
Yeah.
So yeah, built it up, got another client, another one, and then one of the main trainers in the gym was cutting down to part-time, so I ended up taking up some of their shifts in the morning, so it's kind of more full-time now. So I was doing kind of a couple of mornings and a couple of evenings, and that was making up a full-time sort of thing. And I inherited some of her clients and kind of built that up, and then eventually that person moved on, and I took over their other mornings, but I kept the evenings as well. So I was working. I started, my schedule just started getting bigger and bigger, and it's expanding. And I got to the point then that I was averaging like 15 sessions a day. Like, this is spread out over like a 4-year period of growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Starting with one client.
From the bottom now we hear.
Yes, yeah. You know what I mean? But starting from like that cycle to the train station to losing money, like on the train.
Home the same day.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Literally.
And then you can't get out of the place 4 years later.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, it got to the point then that I was fully booked, like overbooked, to be honest. Like, I was taking on
but just saying yes to everything.
Yeah, not saying no, because I didn't understand, like, I'll get into it in a minute.
Balance.
But, yeah, I didn't understand balance, but it was...
What is balance?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it was like... yeah, I think I still had the mindset of like the one client thing. So I can't turn down anyone, sort of thing. You know what I mean? If anyone asks for a service, you have to just fit them in somehow.
Yeah.
So like, my schedule became like a game of Tetris every week, just trying to fit people in. Like, it was insane. Like, and someone could text you and go, "Oh, I can't do Tuesday at 7. Do you have an Wednesday morning?" And then you look over, Wednesday's fully booked, and you're like, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" And then you'd end up texting 2 or 3 people and moving them around, and then you just like, you know what I mean? And then it all just comes together again. Like, but you're doing that all the time, like, just constantly moving everyone around and trying to make it work.
Yeah, because if you say no, if you say you can't fit someone in, they might just think, "I'll just get someone else."
Yeah, totally. So I was always trying to be as accommodating as possible, and but I got to the point then I was averaging like 15 people a day, and I was training like 60, 70 sessions a week at times. You know what I mean? I was just flat out, just Monday to Friday, like, and it just got to the point that there'd be people like trying to, like, I could have someone like would get pregnant, maybe they train for a while, then they kind of drop off, have their kid, and then they'd be looking to come back. Yeah. And it's like, the slot's gone. It's long gone, and they're looking for it back, and you're like, oh, and it's just like, but they're a good person.
Yeah,
and
you don't let them down.
And you're like, you know what I mean? You want to accommodate that person. So I remember there came a point that one of the girls was looking to come back, and I was like, okay. And she liked early mornings, so she used to like doing so the first session used to be 6 a.m. and then so I used to 6 a.m. and then the last session I think was what time? I'd finish at 9:30 that night, so that was the full day.
It's not right.
It's a long day, right? Long hell day. Any personal trainer that's done that double shift knows what it's like, especially if you're back to back, you're mad busy. But she's looking to do the 6 a.m.s again. I was like, I don't have any, so ended up doing an earlier one. So I ended up doing, what time was it? I think it was the 5:15. This new session that doesn't exist was created. The like mythical 5:15 a.m. session, like, and I was like, it's just crazy to be training at that time. I personally think, anyway.
Especially leaving at 9:30 at night.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. So I'd basically start at quarter. I'd be there at 5:45. And I go right through, and I finish at 9:30 that night, and get home, and then I'd be up the next morning at like 5, ready to go again. But now, because I added in the 5:15 on 2 mornings, then I was getting up at like 4, 4:15, and I'd probably only start to get asleep at 11:30 that night, sometimes 12. Sometimes I'm wired.
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
So I was getting
It's like 4.5 hours a night.
Yeah, and I was doing that for a good while, and during that period, then like I've always wanted to keep educating myself and keep learning, like whether I'm listening to podcasts or reading books or trying to do courses. I'm always trying to upskill and improve. I'm never just happy.
Yeah.
I'm never just fully satisfied with where I am knowledge-wise and even experience-wise. Like, 'cause I just don't think you can ever know enough. I kind of feel like time is against us in that sense.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I started studying neuromuscular physical therapy, because I noticed that like if some of my clients got an injury or they're having like reoccurring pains and stuff, that like you'd have to send them off to like a massage therapist or a physio or you know what I mean, athletic therapist, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they could be gone for a while, then they come back, and then it's kind of like, geez, maybe if I went and studied that, I could kind of offer that as part of my service.
Yeah, little upsell.
Yeah, so if you were injured, instead of sending you away, I can treat you or help you. You know what I mean? Within reason now. You know what I mean? Because I'm not like I wasn't doing that. That wasn't my main focus. You know what I mean? But I wanted to offer that as part of the service. But then I also got into real preventative stuff. So like working on posture and stuff like that. So I wanted to get people's body in like the best posture possible and looking after their joints, and not just training for aesthetics, essentially, like appearance, you know what I mean, like look good but also move well and feel good, you know
like
what I mean,
strengthen their joints,
like there's no point looking good and then your back's in bits and your neck's killing you and you're crippled, like, you know what I mean. That's so many people out there, you know what I mean. There's just, I
feel like you're talking to me right now. Can't touch my toes.
But you know what I mean, it's not practical either. Like I think you need to think, like I start getting into the idea of like longevity as well as performance, like if you're doing sports and looking good, like trying to tap into all these things.
You had a great analogy that you were actually describing my body, where I've been like in the gym, I don't know, 10-15 years, probably around 12 years, and what I've done is I'm basically a car with a spoiler and a big exhaust pipe, and, like something out of Need for Speed when you pimp out your ride, like, but the engine, it hasn't, I haven't serviced it in years.
I
like,
haven't
I
done
haven't put oil in the car.
Just missing that NCT.
It's a funny analogy, like.
Yeah, that's what happens, and then you're fucking, the engine blows or a tire explodes or
your lower back's done in, and
so
and it's just,
like I think I just learned that through my own training as well, because like I used to just like try and go heavy all the time and not be concerned about injuries or joints, and then I started experiencing injuries, do you know what I mean? And
deadlifts, like,
like I
like
started
just lifting heavy with your
bad technique. And
I remember I done a heavy, like I was trying to go for these big numbers, like 180 or whatever it was. And I remember I was at the Spire. I don't know how I ended up at the Spire after college, but I had to make it to the train station, and I had to lean against all the shops all the way down from the Spire to support my back. Like I was walking like a crab sideways, because I couldn't support myself. My back was done.
Oh my god. Yeah, but it happens. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure so many people can relate to that. Or their shoulders feck, but they're still going heavy on their bench. You just can't let it go. Like, I mean, trying to chase them numbers. They mean nothing really if you're not a power lifter or a strong man. You know what I mean? If you're not trying to compete in any of these type of kind of sports or whatever, like it kind of doesn't really matter.
What are you doing?
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. Like no one really cares. Those numbers don't mean anything, and a lot of people will attach their self-worth to the numbers. Then, you know what I mean? So if their bench starts going down, like they just like deflate.
They're not the same human anymore.
I'm a loser. You know what I mean? Like
the story they tell themselves has changed. Just these abstract.
Totally. It's just like the numbers drop now. I'm less of a person, like, which is nonsense. But I was trapped in that for a long time as well, but eventually I broke out of it. But once I got into the neuromuscular therapy, I started thinking very different. I started viewing the body differently, and still train hard, like, and still push it and everything, but with the idea of like trying to incorporate flexibility into it, mobility. Like, it's like, are my joints functioning at optimal level? You know what I mean? Like, are they like, what's holding me back? You know what I mean? And then just trying to watch my posture. Like, it's very, like, it's so common, even sitting in the chair now, like, it's not, like, sitting in chairs is just not great for especially the lower body, but the upper body too. But you develop like a thing called like lower cross syndrome, which is like you get like tight hip flexors, which is the top of your hips here. Those muscles get kind of tight and weak, and your spinal erectors kind of like tighten up and they round, and then your hamstrings get tight, and you just get this pull, and your lower abdomen gets weak as well, and you just get this pull, and you have like a duck sort of. Do you ever see the duck kind of the tilt in the hips? You have a duck arse. That's called like a lower cross syndrome, and people basically develop like this thing called like hyperlordosis, which is like excessive curve of the lower spine, and it's so common, like, you know what I mean? But I've had that as well, and like if I'm not conscious of it and doing like some of the training that I know will help prevent that reoccurring, my body will just start going back towards, especially if I'm sitting down a lot.
You can reshape it like back to its original form.
Totally. Like, so
there's hope out there.
Yeah, you can. No, you can always turn it back, like, within reason now. But
or the hunchback as well.
Yeah,
like,
that's the other one. That's the upper cross syndrome.
The shoulders rounded over.
So generally, like, your chest, you have tight pecs, so they kind of round in, and then there's these two muscles like kind of in between your shoulder blades called the rhomboids, and they become like stretched out and weak. So they're not
on every back machine.
So they're like, you're like this, you're hunched over, and then your shoulders kind of get elevated a bit as well, like, and your levator scapula is like tight. It's all just, you're like this, and then what happens is that like for anyone that's only listening, my shoulders are rounded now, my hands are turned inwards, so like my thumbs are kind of facing each other. So you get this internal rotation of your arms. So you're like this, right? And then what happens is you're actually looking down. So if I was standing now, my head would be looking down towards the ground. And then to correct that, then you end up elevating your chin, which puts your neck into extension, and that's called like forward head posture.
That's what I'm doing right now.
So yeah, you're going around like, you know what I mean? You're going around like a fucking chicken neck or whatever, or people call it nerd neck. And
it's like the opposite of what a masculine man should look like. Like,
it doesn't look good.
Like shoulders back, chest out. It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Like, it's not attractive.
No,
you know what I mean? But
and like confidence wise as well, like, just
definitely not, like, it's not
naturally
good for
like if you want to feel more like sure of yourself, just put your head up and like face the world head on, like,
totally.
While like you know, your day job is turning you into you're
creature,
like, and then that plays into your mindset as well.
Totally, like, I think they've done studies to show that like there is a psychological impact of like how you carry yourself every day. You know what I mean? So if you are standing up straight or with your shoulders back and tucking your chin in and kind of like not proud chested, like, not like ego,
you're not sizing like everyone up.
This like egomaniac going around, but like just holding yourself in your position and like kind of being confident. Like, you will start exuding confidence, and people will start seeing that, and they may start treating you differently. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're this decrepit shell going around, like, basically just, you know what I mean? Like, you look very like kind of like when you're depressed. Like, a depressed person is curled up in a ball,
head down.
Like, so your stereotypical depressed person is curled up in a ball. And like that exudes like lack of confidence, you know what I mean? No motivation, like, you know what I mean? Just stuck in a rut sort of thing, like. And then if you think of like someone that's really confident and like a good leader and stuff, they're standing up tall.
How
like, they're
carry
open.
Themselves.
They've opened themselves out. It's the exact opposite. You know what I mean? So even if you aren't feeling confident or anything like that, just starting to do that will help.
The act of
it was just start helping you. Even if you're depressed and you realize you're going around like that, even if you just correct that will make a difference, and it'll build momentum then to maybe get out of that. You know what I mean? Just start changing things. Like, what else can you change?
Because I'll notice it in I talked about it before, where I'm just walking by, I catch my reflection. We all love looking at ourselves, like in car mirror, like windows or whatever it is, and I'll just notice, like, Jesus, I'm a bit hunched over there, and then I'll just be like correcting myself. Like, it's only when you notice it that you're like, geez, this is actually like, I'm morphing into something that I don't want here. Like,
totally.
I need to be more proactive in
100%. And it's
battling it, because I'd spend you know, there'd be days where I might spend like 8 hours just sitting down, like, and then
Yeah.
just
Most people are
just
like,
going to bed,
yeah.
not doing any stretches. I'll do a gym workout,
Yeah.
like to slap on some
some
whatever,
muscle
yeah,
onto
a
that,
spoiler
like,
onto the back,
yeah.
like, but yeah,
yeah, because like so a lot of people are working like 8 hours a day, let's say, sometimes 10, sitting at the desk, and then they're also like driving to work, so it's the same thing again.
Yeah.
And then even they're holding the steering wheel, so it's kind of like feeding into that again.
yeah,
And then they come home, they drive home, and then they're sitting on the couch watching telly, and it's all just the same thing. You know what I mean? They're never like they're never using their hips the way they're supposed to be, like, or bringing their knees through their full range of motion, their elbows. They're not doing anything. So like you're basically training your body to like be in that position. You know what I mean? And the body adapts to any type of stimulus you give the body, it will adapt to.
yeah,
Good or bad. It doesn't know really the difference. So if you're putting it in these like unnatural positions all the time, it's just that's going to become your position. You know what I mean? And then it just seems like throughout the years, there's like the amount of people I've trained over the last 10 years or so, like there's just a clear correlation of like neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, you know what I mean, sciatica going down the leg, like just disc problems, all from sitting down all the time and not getting up and moving around, not exercising, not doing like pre-corrective exercises, having no awareness, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not even thinking about it. Yeah,
it's all very preventable in my opinion. Like, and,
just being be proactive with it.
Yeah, totally. And you don't have to do any crazy like routines or anything like that. I actually think it's better. Like a lot of people, like they might get physio exercise or whatever to go physio, and then they'll give them like this little plan that's like 30-45 minutes to do every day, and then people hardly ever do it. You only get certain kind of people that will do that. Very low percentage people will actually stick at it and do it.
Yeah,
and so it's not a high like kind of success rate.
Yeah,
that method.
Yeah, it's just the idea of it. It's like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow.
And
or I
these
couldn't be arsed. Or
non-sexy, boring exercises.
I feel a soundbite coming on here. So, like, let's say like we're definitely going to come back.
Yeah.
To the storyline, but if I wanted to just start, like, what is the minimal amount I could do daily to kind of just recorrect?
Yeah.
Just say like the rounded shoulders, the hunchback.
Yeah, the lower back.
Yeah,
the
lower
hips,
back, the hips.
Like I actually think what the best way to view this is, instead of like prescribing like, right, you're going to do this routine once a day for 45 minutes or whatever, forget about that. You need to think about how you position your body throughout the day, all day, every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as you can. Obviously you're going to be deep in work and forget. Like I hunch over still, you know what I mean? And my posture can go bad all the time. It's just a constant thing, you know what I mean? If you're sitting in these chairs, you're gonna hunch. Eventually, it's just part of it. So it's like, I think taking regular breaks from sitting, like you should get up at least like once every hour.
Yeah, take a 10-minute break or whatever.
Just get up, and I think one of the best things to do is try sitting a deep squat. So many people can't. Like, it's insane. So many people can't do it. They just can't sit in a deep squat. Just doing that alone, if you sat in the deep squat for, let's say, 20 seconds, even if you can do that, then build it up 30 seconds, 40, 50, and get more comfortable in that position, because that's just like a natural human position that we're being robbed of by the chairs.
Yeah.
So if you go back to any of the ancient tribes around the world, you will see people around campfires sitting in a deep squat comfortably, cooking, chatting, do you know what I mean, playing music, like chanting, like it's
There's
just
no strain on the body, like it's just a natural
you know what I mean,
position.
and going to the bathroom, even like the in a deep squat, giving birth, deep squat. Like it's just this basic fundamental human movement, and it's a resting position as well. Like that is your chair.
And even in the East, you'll see that they don't have chairs.
Yeah, totally. And like, they'll sit cross-legged on the ground. That's another great thing.
Cross-legged. Jesus Christ! Like,
sitting on a cushion, like
never been able to do that comfortable, like, because the hips are just.
So see, that's
so
a big thing
tight,
in yoga. Like, obviously, I might get into yoga later, but that's a big thing in yoga as well. Just sitting cross-legged, like, you don't have to do the fucking full lotus, but even sitting on the ground cross-legged is good for you as well. Trying to keep the spine neutral.
Yeah.
But I think, so start with the squat, because the squat is like a fundamental resting position. It's not just everyone thinks it's a squat with a barbell or dumbbells and all. That's grand, but like, I've known so many people, and including myself, that like can squat, let's say 150 kilos, 160 kilos, a crazy amount of weight. Lightweight, baby. Shout out to Ronnie Coleman.
It's crippled, but
he's
God
in
bless
bits.
him. Like.
He's in bits, but legend all the same.
Yeah.
But I've known people that can squat like 150 kilos, whatever, even 200 kilos, like these really strong people, and then they can't sit in a squat at all. They can't get down without lifting their heels, and they can't stay there either. Like their legs are on fire, their knees are sore, their back, they're in bits. And it's just like that. Like you need that is a fundamental thing that we should have. Like if you look at toddlers and little kids going around, they're on the ground, they're popping up, they're doing squats, they're doing fucking lunges, they're doing everything. They're crawling around. It's just all these basic fundamental stuff. Like they're sitting in yoga postures, and it's just normal. It's not even a yoga posture. It's just movement, human movement on the floor.
Elastic bands.
So I think really focus on your squat. That's number one, because that will start looking after your back, your hips, your knees, your ankles. That'll tackle all of them.
It's so easy. You just need to sit down on yourself.
So easy. It's just
build up.
It's just there. You know what I mean? And there will be pain, for a lot of people.
There will be blood.
There will be blood. But the key at the start, I would say, is everyone, like most people, when they think of a squat, they think of their feet planted on the ground, and they're afraid their toes going over the knee, and they're afraid their heels lifting up when they squat. So I'd say forget about all that. If your heels lift up off the ground, that's fine. It just means at the moment you don't have the ankle mobility to keep them planted. So just lift them. It doesn't matter how high they go. Lift them. Get down as low as you can, and your knees will go over your toes. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a myth. Toes, knees over toes, guys. That's a myth. Like I learned that when I studied in personal training, like over 10 years ago. It was like if your knees go over your toes, they're gonna explode. And like it's going to be catastrophic. Like all your ligaments are going to like just explode into like vaporized into dust, and it's not true. But as I said earlier, your body will adapt to any stimulus you give it. So if you never train your body to put the knees over the toes, well then of course it's not going to be a strong position for you, and your body won't be used to it. You know what I mean? So if you do that under load, then you could get injured. And then if you've ever played any sport in your life, like your knees are always going over your toes.
You're not watching.
And it's multi-directional. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you don't plant your heel, arse back, keep your knees. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not practical. So don't worry about your knees going over your toes. Don't worry about your heels lifting. Just go for depth. You want your hamstrings, which is the back of your thighs, to rest on your calves. That's all you're after.
So shut up and
stay there. And if you have a rounded spine, it doesn't matter either. Just stay there. And over time, you build up your time in that position throughout the day, and you'll see everything will just start opening and become comfortable.
Get loose.
Like I done this on myself first to practice it. You know what I mean? And like I got to the point like I can comfortably just sit in a squat for like 10 minutes or more. You know what I mean? I haven't pushed it to the extreme limits, but I've sat in like 5-10 minutes comfortably. It's just like sitting on a chair, and you can get there. You know what I mean? I was just doing it every day. Any chance you get, brushing your teeth, just go down, making a cup of tea. You go in to make a cup of tea, sit in a squat for a second while the kettle's boiling.
That's good.
Just add it in throughout the day. Like think of like I'm adding movement into my day. All day. I'm not doing this exercise routine, because then it creates resistance and people don't want to do it. It feels like a chore. Throwing a squat in every time you get up on your hour break, you can do that.
Make it habitual.
Do you know what I mean? You can do that. And then I'd say the next thing, I would say if we're just going off simplicity and you don't like no barriers to entry, no equipment needed, I would say there's a thing you can do against the wall called like wall angels. So the idea is, now most people won't be able to do this, but you want to put the back of your head against the wall, your shoulder blades against the wall, and then you kind of want your bum against the wall, and then your heels against the wall, and then your rib cage. You're going to be like this, right? So
there'll be like a gap in your lower back. So you're going to
have your hands in like a W with your thumbs against the wall, and you want your elbows and thumbs and like forearms against the wall, and naturally you're going to feel your rib cage flare up. So you want to push that down, and once you push that down, you'll feel your arms fall forward. Okay, so you want to just keep trying to combat that. So in the beginning, you'll probably have your rib cage flared, and then what you want to do is you want to start bringing your arms up, keeping them pinned against the wall for as long as you can. Keep raising them up into a Y, and then start bringing them over your head and bring your hands together. So once you get to the point where your hands together, your elbows and kind of your arms will come off the wall, but you're keeping your thumbs still against the wall, and then you're trying to straighten your arms as much as you can, and you'd be amazed how hard that is. Yeah.
And that's just like for the back posture.
So that's gonna open up. That's gonna combat the forward head posture and the upper cross syndrome. That's gonna combat that. So that's gonna help. And that's so easy to do. You just get a wall, and then if you don't have a wall, I have another one for you. Then you can just lie down on your stomach. To see, this is probably gonna be harder, like especially if people are in the office and they're trying to whack this in, like going into the bathroom and lying on the ground. I don't think that's gonna happen.
You can go against any wall.
I just think the wall is probably the best, but I'll give you another one anyway. So you can lie down on your stomach and tuck your chin down so you're looking directly at the wall. Then you're gonna like lift your chest off the ground, right? And then you're going to put your hands out on a Y and lift them as high as you can. And then at the same time, you're going to lift your legs as well. And that's going to...
I know that one, yeah.
So basically what you're doing is you're bringing your body into extension. It's like fucking triple extension, basically. Because we're in like flexion here. We're sitting in flexion. So you're really trying to do the opposite of what's happening in the chair. That's all it is. Just a game of flexion and extension, really.
And just do a couple of minutes.
Just hold it for a couple of seconds. Just get the muscles activated.
I remember doing it. I could do like 10 seconds and then I'd stop. Because it would just get too much. And then I'd just go again, stop. And it would get shorter every time. But
so you're just trying to build endurance in those small posterior muscles in your upper back. You know what I mean? Particularly with the Y stuff. And that's going to help keep your shoulder blades back and down. You know what I mean? You want your shoulder blades back and down. A lot of the times they're elevated, they're up and forward. So that's like elevated and protracted. You want them retracted and depressed. You know what I mean? That's what you want. It's all about your shoulder blades, really. You know what I mean? Once they're in the right place, then your shoulders in the right place. And then it's like your arms. You don't want your arms internally rotated. So you don't want your thumbs turned into each other. You want them out. So they should be pointing straight out from your body, like the direction of your toes, straight out in front of you. So they're little cues there. But I just think the squat and the wall angels, they're like, you know what I mean? The lowest barrier to entry.
If you make it a daily habit, like...
Totally, just add them in throughout the day. So like just throw in the squat, throw in a couple of reps against the wall, and it's not going to be perfect. Like you won't be doing this perfect. Like it mightn't be pretty at all.
You'll feel really awkward and stupid,
but just keep doing it and you'll get better at it, and then eventually you'll get way better. You know what I mean? And then if you want to go to the next level, you can buy like resistance bands and start doing like band pull aparts, and that you can do lunge stretches. There's loads of other stuff you can do beyond that if you want to go deeper into it. But I think like lowest kind of hanging fruit, I think those two exercises, anyone can do them. You don't need any equipment.
Because I have this picture of, you know, the evolution of man, where it just shows like, you know, we're a gorilla and then like we're starting to slowly stand up. And then, you know, what if like 100 years from now or 200 years from now, that graph starts to look like people just slowly beginning to hunch over more and more because sitting down is just part and parcel of life.
Totally. It's just, I tell you, just adapt to whatever you're doing. The body will adapt to anything. And I actually seen, I was in town the other day and I was driving and I seen this poor old lady with a walking stick, and I mean she was bent fully forward, just like a table.
Seen it.
And I was just like that was so that I don't know what happened to her or anything, but generally that type of stuff is preventable if you're doing these exercises and being like minding yourself through a period of time. That won't happen. Like we're all trying to fight that fall, like bending over in our older age. You know what I mean? And I just felt like it feels like someone needs to just grab her and just go, you know what I mean?
Just her off,
it's just
because it doesn't happen. No, like most of the time it won't happen.
It's gradual. It's like what you're saying, that evolution. It's like throughout your lifetime, you're kind of born as the toddler, and you have all the flexibility, all the movement patterns. And as we start getting older and start kind of going through like school, sitting in the chairs all day,
it's very early, like,
and going through play school, you're sitting in chairs. Like I honestly think that's nuts. Like, I think it's crazy. Take away the chairs. Get rid of them.
You just need a field for a play skill.
Yeah, totally. Now that's my type of skill. Just get them out there. But I think putting kids in chairs is nuts. Like, just get them out of that. You know what I mean? Just get them out of that. And then even secondary school, I'd get rid of the chairs as well.
It's not even a thought. It's just like, we'll just get the chairs and the tables.
It's to get you ready for the office. That's what it really is. But that's what it is. It's just programming to get you ready for the office. But during that process, it's having like drastic fucking like effects on our body, like, you know what I mean? And it's just shortening everything up, and we're losing basic movement patterns. And then that's why there's so much like back pain in the world, shoulder pain, neck pain, like, and loads of people are on like painkillers all day and like out of work and this and that. It's so preventable. It's so preventable, like, and it's like people only want to address it when they've gone so far, you know what I mean? And it could have been stopped way earlier. It's just preventative, but a lot of it is lacking knowledge and
just awareness. Like, you're not even
awareness. They don't know. A lot of people don't talk about this stuff, so they just don't know. So it's not their fault at all.
And then it's much easier, rather than what you talk about, just get into a daily routine of trying to reverse the dysmorphia or whatever. You can just like take a pill to get the pain away, and that's the shortcut. And
totally,
it's like everything what you're talking about being programmed for the office. Like, we're just being programmed for the instant fix.
Totally.
Just with everything, how we're being designed, how we order our food, how we order stuff from Amazon, like social media, all like the
instant
like
gratification.
TikTok is taken off because it optimizes for instant gratification. You open the app up and the news feed is the video playing, like
you're right in there straight away, like just hitting the dopamine, serotonin's going through the roof, everything. You're just getting that hit. It's like a fucking drug hit, you know?
So we're being trained for those hits, like
totally.
Rather than trying to delay the gratification or delay the objective of what we're trying to get to. It's like it has to be now. If I can't get it now, I have to find out a way to get it now. So I'll just pop a pill and the pain's gone.
Totally.
Well, that's just a band-aid on a gaping wound.
100%. It's not getting to... all it's doing is treating the symptoms. It's not getting to the core problem, the root cause. And the root cause, generally, for most people... I know some people get in accidents, or... there is cases where people... like, there is hereditary stuff there as well. There's like a past history of like... hip surgeries in families and arthritis and all this sort of stuff.
They'd be more the outliers though, compared to...
But even at that, I kind of feel any autoimmune stuff, like there's new research now to indicate that like your diet and like your gut health has a massive effect on like inflammation in the body. So like you can start reducing inflammation in your body through like kind of bringing in probiotics, prebiotics and all this sort of stuff into your body, like through like let's say live culture. So live natural yogurt's kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut, all these sort of fermented stuff, really good for your gut, like really good, like, and they're kind of saying now that the gut is like the second brain of the body, you know what I mean? And it's having a massive role in everything that's going on, you know what I mean? It's pulling a lot of the strings from behind, like, and like 90% of your serotonin, which is like 1 to 4 happy hormones, is produced in your gut, you know what I mean? So what you're putting into your gut is going to be a massive kind of it dictates how you're going to feel and how you're performing.
Happiness fuel.
Happiness fuel.
What are you using?
And inflammation fuel, like how much inflammation is in your body. If you're just filling your body full of sugar and processed foods all the time, well then your body's going to be inflamed, because you're basically putting in like just bad food that isn't optimal for your body, and for it to break it down and try to turn it into energy, it's like it has a negative side effect then for doing that, you know what I mean? It's like when you put bad fuel into your car, it doesn't run as well and it starts cutting out and it doesn't perform at the optimal level
how
it
it's
should
supposed
perform
to perform.
Totally. So I think some people that have like inflammation in their body right now and having back injuries and stuff, they could begin to change their diet and then start with the lifestyle patterns of like not sitting down all day and moving around. All these things would make it dramatic.
It's multifaceted. It's
it's a whole thing. Like it's a whole lifestyle thing, and you can just completely flip it on its head. Like, and then even if you have gotten to the point that you've had to have surgery, because it got so bad that you needed surgery, you can still make these changes afterwards and have a way better quality of life, like way better. Like I've worked with people that have had different surgeries throughout the years and had like knee, back problems, people that have like fused back, lower back, and they're back deadlifting and moving around, and maybe they're not going to be a professional athlete, but they're able to perform the basic human functions throughout the day. Like for some people, like just being able to reach into the like the top shelf.
Yeah.
Like
The basics,
like
yeah.
there's a girl I train, and like her flexibility is just getting so bad, and all we're trying to do is combat basically it's rigor mortis nearly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just optimal for like just sitting down to go to the bathroom, just basic stuff. You know what I mean?
It just like hurting you.
Because you can lose it. It will
Yeah.
go. Like I've seen it in my granddad. He's what is he now? He's like 79 or something. But I've seen sometimes I'll be in the house and I see him kind of going in to make a cup of tea, and he's slouched over, like, and I go, will you stand up straight, will it? And then he can, and you start messing, you start dancing and all, and it's like he's like already beginning the process himself without even.
And that's where it happens in them little moments, just
stand
day
up
after day after day.
Yeah. So like, and you say it to him, and then he stands up, and he's like fucking 3 inches taller, and he looks better, and then it's just like. You can do it, you know what I mean? So it's just like if you're not doing it and you've been doing that for 50 years, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, you never stagnate. It's like it's either always improving or always getting worse. It never just stays the same. That's the real
people
problem.
Don't get that. They think they can just stay in a period of time. It's like time is always moving. Everything is always changing. You're never in the same spot. You're either, as you said, you're either like getting worse or better, and that's it. Or if you are the same, but time has moved on, you're actually worse because now you're older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, and things don't work the way they used to as time goes on. Like.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, so I think if people incorporate that sort of mindset in, that it can make a big difference for them.
Yeah, transform yourself just by being proactive, aware.
Yeah, and being patient as well, because it takes time. So if you've been sitting in these bad positions for years, you're not just gonna do it 1 week and it's fixed.
Yeah,
and it's never fully fixed because you have to maintain it.
Yeah, it's a, like you said, a lifestyle change.
100%, because a lot of people with this is another problem with the fitness industry, that they'll like, let's say they haven't trained like in like 5 years and they're out of shape, they're not fit. And they think coming into the gym and training for 6 weeks, like going on a crazy like calorie restricted diet and doing like a massive volume of training that they've gone from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
They think that's going to transform them.
6 week transformation.
Yeah, and that's not optimal. Out of all the pathways for you to transform as a person, that has very low success rates. I've seen it throughout the years. It's such a low success rate. Only some people like transform per se. You know what I mean? And what is the transformation? The transformation is that they continue exercise and watch what food they're eating and care about their health, fitness, and wellness. That's really what it is. But a lot of people that do the 6 week transformation, all they're after is like a physical transformation. They just want to lose weight and they don't want to change any of their habits. And once they've done the 6 weeks, they go back to like eating the crap food, drinking, doing all the things that got them in the place they're in, that made them unhappy with their appearance and themselves. And they think that restricting themselves for 6 weeks will somehow like erase all that, and it won't. It literally won't. If you just go back to doing what you're doing beforehand, you're going to get the same, like the input gets the output. So if you're doing the same things, it's going to give you the same results. So if you go back to the stuff that was giving you the result that you don't want, you're going to get that result again.
Yeah. I've noticed that with, let's say I have something coming up, an event, or something big in my life that I want to do well in. Like one example was going on Ireland AM. I knew that was coming up 2 or 3 weeks before. Yeah,
you're doing great in that.
Cheers. Yeah. But I was like, okay, I want to be on the ball for that. So it's like, I'm going to cut out everything. I'm going to be a monk. Yeah. I'm going to like watch what I'm eating, get in the sauna every day, getting cold water plunge, the whole shebang. Yeah. And you're just in this laser focused mode all the way up to the event. Like. Mm-hmm. And then the event comes and then it passes. And then I remember that evening, I went for a run. Yeah. And I came back by the chipper. And I just said, "Ooh, what do we have here?" And I just walked in, and I just seen the Southern Fried Chicken just sitting up ready, And I just go, I'll just go halves on the snack box with my brother, just like as a little treat. Because he helped me a lot prepare.
Yeah, totally.
And brought me up to the studio and all. And had the snack box, and then I think it was a Wednesday, and then I think that Friday, then got a big takeaway, and then all the great habits I
wheels have
got
come
into
off, the wheels have come off.
started just dwindling away
Yeah.
because I didn't have that overarching goal. Like that felt like really important to me, a real purpose. So it's, I think, kind of with the 6-week transformation topic you touched on, it's about trying to tie like what you do every day to some overarching goal that really gives you purpose. If you can try and find that with something that is not just like a stake in the ground where it's, I have this event on this day. It's like, how would you incorporate that so it's always there? There's the flag's always there. You're always looking at it. It's tough. Like, I haven't figured it out. Like.
See, the thing is, I think what you done there, I don't think that was bad what you done. I actually think so my view on it is that you need to get into kind of a routine that you could sustain. Sustainability over a long period of time. That's what matters. And I think with the 6-week transformations, it's unsustainable. That's the problem. So you're doing this high volume training that you're not going to sustain, and your low calorie diet, unsustainable.
Chicken and rice every day, or
you're not going to stick at that. You need to find something that you're going to be able to do over a long period of time, and that's when you'll get the true change. You know what I mean? And then it's not like you're completely like depriving yourself. You know what I mean? You have to live as well. So I think, like, even with food, if you're 80% eating healthy and 20% maybe not, or even 10%, somewhere in that kind of range, I think that's all right. But if you can stay in that range and think of that's just how you live now, right? With everything, right? And then if you do have an event coming up, like say what Ireland AM there, you going into that monk mode, I think is great. For that period of time.
Go extreme. Like, just turn it up
to a level that you know you can't sustain, but you can sustain it for a week or two. You know what I mean? And then you know you're going to be like peaking, but after that peak, you're going to drop.
Yeah, like training for a marathon or
100%.
Like
that's what you do for any sports competition. You'll have this period of you build, peak, and then drop off and detrain and kind of recover, and then build, peak. You can't always be at your best the whole time. But what some people can do is, like, instead of, like, let's say being at 100, you're pure best that you cannot sustain, you will burn out. Get down to the 80%, 70%, and just be consistent at 70 and 80. And then in those moments when you have to ramp it up for, like, your event, the Ireland AM, you get up to 100. So you're firing on all cylinders, you're ready to go. And then after that, drop back down to maybe 60, 40 even. Have your little reward, have your snacks and all, ease up. But then get back to the 80. The problem for people is when they ease up, they can't put the foot back down. Do you know what I mean? The car just comes down to a halt, and all the old habits will start coming back in. Kind of always there. Even it doesn't matter how long you've kind of moved away from old behaviors that were holding you back, they will come back. Once when you kind of get too loose with yourself and not strict and tired or whatever, run down, all these things will come back and they'll start, like, you know what I mean? And then you suddenly be doing things that you hadn't done in like 5 or 10 years, and you're like, what is going on? You know what I mean?
I've come back worse, right? You know this story where me and my brother done 30 days. We done this bet. It's like no sugar, no processed foods. I think no coffee. Cut out everything just for 30 days. And then at the end of it, we have this cheat day, not a cheat meal, a cheat day where we eat whatever we want for full 24 hours. And then we go back to it, you know, on the Sunday. And we did it for 30 days and it was great. And then we had the cheat day, horrendous, like tortured our bodies like with all sorts. And then we never went back. And I found that since that was during COVID, I think it was like one of the months during lockdown. And I remember gorging on food like I've never gorged before, and just doing filthy things with food. It made me like my habits were far worse than before I had started that, because I'd opened up this portal to just like just being a beast with like just food, like, and just
shameful
hedonism, like just turned up, like.
See, sometimes if you that's the danger with extremism, because when you get up to one end of the scale, and if you just fall from grace, you can go right down to the other end. You know what I mean? So
you
you've
just keep
gone
going,
from like heaven down into the depths of hell. You know what I mean? Like that's what can happen. You free fall. So it's like a skill to catch yourself. Don't let yourself get down to that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm still building myself back up.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean?
18 months
years
ago,
later, So I think, I don't know, I think that doing those type of food challenges, like I'm more into, like, see when you're saying you were meditating, sauna, doing all these sort of things that are shown to improve performance and productivity and all. I like all that, but I think with food you have to be careful, because we're eating every day and you develop these emotional kind of relationships with food, and you can use it as a crutch if you're stressed or you're sad or you're happy. It's like, oh, I'm happy, let's get a pizza. I'm sad, let's get a pizza. I'm stressed, let's get a pizza.
I had a hard day today.
It's always there, and you always have a good reason. You know what I mean? I had a great day, let's celebrate. I had a terrible hard day, let's I don't want to cook tonight, let's get a pizza. You know what I mean?
And it's so dangerous because we need the food anyway, so it's so easy to
always
justify.
There.
It's like, I need to eat anyway.
100%. It's always there, no matter what. Whereas I think bringing in good habits like meditation and stuff, and going extreme on them at certain points, I don't think they're going to have these like detrimental effects that the food will have. You know what I mean? Because there's so much emotion attached to it throughout your day. You know what I mean? Like you're in work, it's your lunch break, you just got fucking in a row with your boss, and then you're standing outside McDonald's, like, and you're like, fucking, I'm going in, you know what I mean?
Good.
You know what I mean?
Food,
things like that happens, and that becomes a pattern then. So every time you get stressed, you reach for your McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a positive feedback loop, and it gets worse and worse. Like.
Yeah, and then, you know what I mean? Now you've developed a really bad habit that's even harder to break then.
Yeah.
It's like you associate stress with eating that food to feel better, like.
Yeah, and then why wouldn't you to keep doing it? Because
it makes you feel good in that moment. It's the instant thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's back to the instant thing. So,
but the good thing about, being more aware, and, I haven't been a practitioner of meditation, I've done drips and drabs, but I found that you're just more aware of, because you get controlled by these ideas, like you said. I eat food, I'm going to feel better after it because I had a hard day. But when you are in that place where you're more aware of your thoughts, because the thoughts are just coming in and out of existence, and it's up to you to just, take them serious or ignore them. Yeah. But with the likes of meditation or just being more present, you're able to just kind of control what you listen to, what takes a hold of you, rather than just giving into whatever comes into your mind, like the first thing.
Yeah. It gives you like a filter to not just be a reactionary person. So any impulse you get or emotional feeling, if you've no awareness, you'll just act on it immediately. You're just like this like reactionary person. Whereas if you're meditating, you'll develop like awareness of, like, as you said, how thoughts kind of just seem to appear. Like you can't stop it. Thoughts just keep coming, and you kind of nearly don't have any control over it. Like, but as you said, you've control over which thoughts you act on. And it's the same with emotions. If you get a feeling of anger in that moment, you kind of have a choice. If you're doing a lot of meditation, you kind of have a filter that you can decide, are you going to react or are you going to just let it go by? You know what I mean? Or recognize that you're angry, but don't become the anger. But if you're not meditating, for most people, they just react, and they have become anger. Anger has like possessed them in that moment.
Just autopilot, compulsive.
Pure autopilot. Like, so the other thing that meditation gives you as well is it improves your concentration. So if you're trying to do like good work and be at your best, like high performance, it'll help you concentrate on the task and not be pulled away by distractions.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So you can do better work.
Check your phone.
Yeah, you can just do better work, and you can catch yourself when you're trying to trick yourself and pull yourself away from the things you need to be doing with nonsense. You know what I mean?
Because that's what meditation is. You're just pulling yourself from like whatever is not meditation, because when you are meditating, your mind is screaming at you like just
the whole time.
Don't wait for the alarm, just stand up and just you're wasting time here.
Totally. Because I think a lot of people think that meditation is emptying your mind, which some of the techniques, that is the goal, but not all of it. Like even just mindfulness meditation, the idea is that you just sit with yourself, and you can even have your eyes open or closed.
Yeah.
And just sit there and don't move for a specific period of time. Like you could say for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and just sit there and just see what happens. You know what I mean? And if you can bring in, like, for me anyway, I'd focus on my breathing, or you can, like, if you have your eyes open, you can focus on something like the wall there, a specific point on the wall, spot, and just look at that for 10 minutes and see, can you do it? Like, and you'll be amazed what starts happening, because like your mind will come in, the monkey mind, and will start telling you this is a waste of time. Like let's start moving. Oh, my back. You start getting these phantom pains in your body. Like things will just start happening, and it's doing everything to stop you from focusing. You know what I mean?
And then that feeds into the rest of your life.
So if you're doing that sort of thing, like I like to kind of sit cross-legged, just from the yoga background. I like to sit cross-legged, eyes closed, and I just focus on my breath, and like that's it. And I just keep returning back to the breath. So what will happen is I will get distracted in thought, and I'll go down. It could have been a conversation I had before, or a memory from like 10 years ago, or it could be something in the future, or an idea I have, or something will come in, and I'll kind of go down the rabbit hole of the idea. And then the moment I catch myself realizing that I've strayed away from my breath, I return back to the breath and start again.
Break the cycle.
And people think that they've failed in that moment. No, you haven't. You've succeeded. Meditation is catching when you get pulled away. That's all it is. So it's like pulling yourself back to your breath, and then you get pulled away again with a thought or a feeling or a phantom pain, and then it's like right back to the breath, and you just keep repeating it. And the earlier you catch yourself getting pulled away, the sharper you're getting. And then eventually,
the awareness is gone.
Eventually, like when I've been doing it like consistently, like, and doing like 20, 40 minute sessions, like every day, even twice a day at some points when I got really into it, you get to the point that as you get whisked, that you're catching it. Do you know what I mean? You're catching it nearly straight away. Whereas if now, like at the moment, like my practice isn't as deep as it was. Like I could only be doing like 10 minutes a day, or 10 minutes every second day, let's say. Whereas at one point it was like 20, 40 minutes every day, as I said. And I can see the difference. Like it's massive. Like now, like I could get out of that 10-minute session, I could get whisked away for about like maybe 8.5 minutes.
The whole session could be just you thinking, like
the whole session is me whisked. Whisked away. I'm answering emails in my head, and I'm sorting these problems out, and all these things I have to do, and blah blah blah, and my goals, and I'm not doing this. I need to get to bed earlier. You know what I mean? I need to start eating more vegetables. All this stuff just is flooding in, and you're just going with it. And it's just a tsunami. And
you've lost control, like, but that's what meditation can do. You get control of your mind back, and like you said, you'd notice when you know you've drifted off and you catch yourself. But that then, like we said, it feeds into your life where you're doing deep work and you're about to grab your phone to check your notifications and you catch yourself. So that's like the mirroring effect of how it feeds into your life. But one method that I tried that I got, like, I'd say the most out of was Naval Ravikant, where he was on Joe Rogan, and he talked about he just sit there for an hour in the morning, and an hour is a really long time.
Significant. Like,
but
Jesus.
How he described it was, like you said, he'd just sit there and he wouldn't try and do anything. He wouldn't try and force himself to not think anything. He just let his mind run wild for the hour, and just whatever happened. And even if it's you figuring out things and planning things, that's fine. But what tends to happen, which she described, and I've experienced it myself, when you get to 40-45 minutes, like when you're near, you feel, you know, the end is near, like the end is near.
You're coming. You're like, this nearly over.
That sounds morbid, but you're really deep into it, and your mind, it's like your mind is drained. You've actually the thoughts have become tired.
You've emptied the swamp.
So I found that you're not even fighting anything anymore, because it's just, you found calmness, you found bliss. But it's only through going through the struggle of sitting there and listening to your mind and fighting all the emotions that 100%. You end up at this place. So I think I did it for a week. Like it's 7 days.
It's hard, like that hour, like it's
like you know,
the resistance to sitting down is
Yeah.
huge. You're out cutting the grass, you're ironing your socks, you know what I mean?
that's it. Yeah.
Just trying to, you're up in the attic, like clean and, you know, doing anything to sit down, avoidance.
Yeah. So like obviously, like saying I'm going to start off doing an hour a day
Yeah.
is you know, it won't be
that's
sustainable.
high level stuff.
But
Like, yeah,
but before that, I'd been doing like the 10
Yeah.
minutes to 20
Yeah.
minutes a day. But yeah, that's what I found gave me back just control over of what I taught, and then that feeds into everything that you do in your life, what you believe
100%,
about
yeah,
yourself.
100%.
If you get caught in a loop we talk about, where you just get on this cycle, a thought gets brought in where it's like, you know, a simple one. It's like I'm not good enough to do this, and then it just, if you don't catch it, like we talked about,
Yeah.
it will just run riot, and then it will
Yeah.
create more scenarios based on the fact that you're not enough,
Yeah, 100%.
and then that becomes who you are
multiplies.
and how you act in the world.
Yeah.
So
And it becomes the
Yeah.
soundtrack in your head.
yeah,
So you have that voice in your head telling you you're not good enough every day. And it's just like,
that's a belief.
life's hard enough as it is. You don't need that.
Yeah.
No one needs that. They need like
Yeah.
a cheerleader in there
Yeah.
to encourage you and like support you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not to the point of delusion, like
Yeah.
grounded in reality, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
But you need someone encouraging you, and you can encourage yourself.
Yeah, because no one else,
No,
you know, no one's gonna do
no.
it for you. Like.
Yeah, no, like you don't
Yeah.
have a cheerleader squad following you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think as well, like just doing meditation, or even you just call it sitting in silence. Even just sitting
Yeah,
with yourself.
that label-
it doesn't have to be meditation. People
Yeah.
think like you're a monk on a mountain. It doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, with your legs crossed, you can
Yeah,
just sit down.
It's sit in a
sit
chair
down.
or lie down, and
Yeah.
but try not to fall asleep. I found the
Yeah,
lying down
yeah.
now I can drift off, but
Yeah.
but that can, even if you bring back the posture and stuff, that brings, it's just awareness, just being aware of how you're handling yourself in every moment. And I think as well, it helps with conversations. You can stay connected with someone talking. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how many people you talk to now and they can't, because of TikTok and social media. We're just getting pulled in, and it's very hard for people to have longer conversations now. It's all just like distracted.
Yeah.
So I think that would help in a working environment as well. If you're in meetings and all, you can actually stay focused in the meeting and get to the bottom of the problem. Like.
And be present rather than,
Yeah.
you know, one cycle that I've went through is you're talking to someone and all you're thinking about is, you're not really listening to them, because you're thinking about, what am I going to say to this person that, you know, I appear in a positive light, or I sound like I added to the conversation, and you're just playing all these fucking mental gymnastics in your head, when all you should be doing is just listening to what the person is saying. And then naturally, you know, things will arise, and you're not creating all this resistance.
100%.
Because that's where the social awkwardness will come from, where you're trying, where if you could just be and just sit in it.
100%.
That's where I found I have
'Cause
like the best conversations.
You feel like you have to say something, and you're getting caught up in that, rather than just allow the conversation to happen, and it will keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially if you're listening, you get more engaged in the conversation, and then you can just keep going. Like, you don't know what you're gonna say next.
Yeah.
It's just coming, like it just keeps coming.
Yeah.
It's
It's a funny old game, but yeah, just to bring it back.
Yeah.
So
we circled away.
Yeah,
there.
we circled away. We got whisked away.
Swammed away
But
there on the posture.
We've become aware now.
We're aware now, and we're recentering back to the stories.
Yeah, we figured out the answers, like, but. So you got to the point where you had taken on too much work, where it become unsustainable.
Yeah.
Like 15 sessions a day or whatever.
And that point kind of came when I started the Neuromuscular Therapy course. I was doing that. I was playing, I was playing soccer as well. After started kind of training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And that's where it started.
And then I was doing 60, 70 hours a week. Like.
How old were you?
I was like, at this point... But when I started getting burnt out, I was between kind of 23, 24. It was starting to happen. And I could feel I was getting burnt out. I didn't know what burnout was like, but I could feel it was coming, like in hindsight, looking back, for a year or two. Because I was running that schedule like for a while, like the high volume of training people. And taking on more clients and not respecting my sleep and recovery. I didn't, because I had so much energy, and I was very ambitious and determined and kind of nearly bullheaded. Like, I just wasn't respecting the sleep, so I was like cutting an hour of sleep out to train another person. And then I'd have the weekends off. I never got pulled into work on Saturdays or Sundays, because my uncle never worked them either, and I think that was a big reason why. But I I think as well, a part of me knew if I opened the door to Saturday, I'm going to be working 6 days, and then could be 7, you know what I mean? So I was kind of aware in that sense. I had my kind of, had my limits of like, I'm only willing to do Monday to Friday, but the problem was I was going to smash those days and do everything I could.
Balls to the wall.
Do everything I could. So I was training jiu-jitsu then as well. I was playing soccer, and I was studying, and I was doing the 60, 70 hours a week. And I had I have a girlfriend, like, I had a girlfriend back then as well.
Yeah.
So it, like there was a lot going on, and there wasn't much sleep, and eventually start getting sick a lot. My energy started going down. I was finding it hard to even work out, no motivation to train. And then eventually I just, like, even to go to work, like, to ramp myself in the morning, I wake up, I was exhausted, just dragging myself.
Yeah.
I just burnt out. And like, in hindsight, like, you need to, same thing what I said earlier, you need to be able to go at a pace that you can sustain over a long period of time. So I was basically going that balls to the wall, 6 weeks transformation, kind of like unsustainable for my career. Like, you know what I mean?
It's fractal.
Yeah, for like 2 years, and then it blew the gasket. The car fucking started falling apart.
And
like
free fall.
Yeah, and I burnt out and had no energy. And then eventually I decided I was going to go away for a couple of months, do a bit of traveling and just take a break. And I was fecked, like, and I remember I kind of went down to part-time then for the last month, and then I went away. I went over to New York for like 2 weeks, spent a lot of time with my dad over in New York. We done loads of training. It was great, amazing time. Then went to New Zealand for a month with a couple of friends, had an unreal time over there. That was actually what I needed, because it was the other side of the world, different time zone, and it's just away from it all. I remember waking up one of the first mornings and everyone was in work, and I was just sitting there and it's just dead silent, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just kind of build myself back up just from
reset,
there. But and then I just started thinking about, what do I want to do? Like, this isn't sustainable. Like, I thought this is my passion. I love fitness. I love helping people. I really like this, but I'm so burnt out, and I'm kind of like, don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So it's a lot of, there was like the moment, like when I failed the computer course, I had another moment, like, what am I going to do? Like, and I was like, well, maybe I go back to college, or I was like, study business. But maybe if I work for myself, maybe. And I only done a few hours and built it up.
Decide.
Yeah, maybe if I try that might be better. And I ended up deciding. I came back then from New Zealand after a month. I went to Amsterdam for like a week. Then I was rested, and I was unemployed then. Do you know what I mean? I didn't go back to the gym. I was just so burnt out. I just felt I couldn't work. So for like there was like 6 months where I was exhausted.
Just ruined.
So there was a month or two I was sleeping 16 hours a day in bed, and I had no energy, and I was barely training, and I was doing nothing. And I kind of felt like, I was like, did I break my body, and did I break my mind? Like, I just can't do anything. And I was concerned at one point that was permanent. But as I just kept listening to my body, just kept giving it the rest. And eventually I revived and started feeling better. And then I was like, I'm going to go to college. I want to go to college and get a degree. I don't have a degree. And I think I was thinking back to, like, in school, I never applied myself academically. The teachers used to always say to my mother, like, oh, he has loads of ability, never applies himself. And I think that was always just there. Yeah. Like, never bothered to leave and start. Even the SATs and Class Sheet.
Just never gave it the full shilling.
The computer program course, never gave it a go. Like, and it's just like, what could happen if I did give it my full effort? Yeah. So I decided to go back to college. I done like a level 6 in in business and computers, and I gave it everything I had. It was 8 modules, and I got 8 A's. Like, and some of the modules got 100%. Like, I mean, I gave everything. I wasn't working around. I was just flat out on that. I was doing a little bit of PT on the side, flat out on that. And I should probably say as well that if you are unemployed, there's so many options for you out there, like from in Trio, like they will help you. Like, so if you like, they offer so many courses and different schemes, and kind of I actually ended up getting this thing called like Back to Education. So it's like, you get on a course, and the course has to be approved by Back to Education though. Yeah. So the course I got was approved by that, and they actually will pay you to go and do the course. So you'll get funding. So it just meant I didn't have to, like, I could just focus on studying. And I just felt like I couldn't juggle the two like I used to. I just felt so Like
Yeah.
there'd be too much stress for me.
Yeah,
I
at the
couldn't-
point you were at.
Yeah,
it
I
was
couldn't handle
perfect,
stress
yeah.
anymore, so it was
It was
perfect.
your way back to
So that took the pressure off,
Yeah.
and I moved back home then as well, to take away from rental pressures and all that, because I didn't have the same salary anymore. Had to downscale my whole life, stop eating out in fancy restaurants, buying nice clothes, downgraded my car, downgraded everything.
Yeah,
My whole quality of life just dramatically went back down. I went back to scratch basically, and started again, and like. It's like what I was saying about starting with one session at the one client at the start. Sometimes you have to scale it right back and start again. Like if you can. Some people have responsibilities, they have kids, they're married. It's harder for them. But sometimes you have to be willing to scale right back down.
And
so
to do that as well, to go from where you were living in town, you had an apartment, had the car, I
was at the point that like mortgage was next. You know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. So for a lot of people to take the step back to go forward, it could be really difficult. Just from what other people will think, never mind what's right for you.
Totally.
It could just be the opinions of others,
like
dictating, oh, I couldn't do that because what will people say, or what will I look like? So yeah, it takes a lot to make that step.
It's hard. It's very hard, especially when your career's going really well and from the outside, like, it looks great, you know what I mean? But if you're burnt out and you're exhausted, like, you have to take, you know what I mean? So from society's point of view, doing really well, but then how you're actually feeling day to day is not lining up with that.
Yeah, so that's all that matters. Like none of
that's what I realized.
None of that shy. Like
I realized none of that matters. If you're not feeling good every day, it's all meaningless. Like the money, the possessions, the material possessions, the status, all that stuff doesn't actually, none of that matters. So
period
at all. It doesn't. It's how you feel every day about yourself. That's all that matters really when you break it down. But so I done the year at that course. Then I found out you could do like an advanced entry. So basically I could use a level 6 qualification to skip the first year of a degree. And I decided I wanted to do applied entrepreneurship because I thought it was pretty fitting, because I was thinking I want to work for myself, start my own business, let's do this. Especially at the point that like I felt like I couldn't work full time. I was just still burnt out, like, so I was like, but I have enough in me to study, and this is new and engage, and I have that fundamental kind of desire to get a degree, just as a personal achievement for myself, to prove to myself that I can do it academically as well.
So there was a good framework for you to just build yourself back and go
like
back at
a
it.
Rebuild. So I went on to that and doing really well on that. Came away with a distinction. I done 2 years of that, so it was an ordinary bachelor's degree. Done 2 years of that, got distinction. I won an award. I won like the Olivia Burke Award, which was like, it was like the Entrepreneur of the Year or something like that. And Olivia Burke was one of the students that died in like the Berkeley balcony accident a couple of years ago.
Oh, in America.
In America. So she was in that college a couple of years before me, and then she died, and then her family made a bursary, lovely like gesture, and like I won that award. It was amazing. Like very thankful to the family, like, and that was class, and that gave me the confidence then that I can do academia, you know what I mean? So then I was like, I want to keep going. So I had an option of kind of doing the add-on year for the level 8, but when I was applying for the Susie grant, I basically had to, because it was an add-on, it was seen as a new course, and I had to go through the whole process again. And then this time, for whatever reason, they wouldn't give me, like, they wouldn't pay for it, like, and I was only getting half anyway, so I had to make up the other 50% for the first 2 years. And for whatever reason, it didn't get accepted. So I was like, oh no, like, this is like financially now, this is a different scenario. And then I was like, do I want to do the same course again? Because it's essentially the same thing again. It's just another year of the same thing, except you'll have an 8 instead of a 7. So I started exploring other options, and I was like, I do want to get into kind of the digital world as well, because I feel like we're all kind of going that direction. Look what we're doing now. So I seen that they were doing a postgrad diploma level 9 in digital entrepreneurship, and it's through Springboard. So if anyone's looking for courses that get like you get assistance for paying, or sometimes they're free as well. So I went on Springboard, found that course, and it was still in the same college. So applied for that. I ended up skipping the level 8, and I went on to level 9. Then done that, got a distinction as well. Went great, but it was all online. It was through the lockdowns and the pandemic. So that was another challenge in itself. But done it again, got distinctions again. I was delighted, and then I was kind of like, right, I'm up at level 9. I have the option now to do another year of this, and I'll have a master's degree in digital entrepreneurship. And I was like, Jesus, like I never expected to get up to level 9. Like I thought when I was doing level 6, I was worried I wasn't going to be up to scratch. I didn't think I'd be able to do it. Like, and now I find myself a few years later at level 9. Like like after that, it's PhD. Like, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like it's like. And then I had a good think about it. And I was like, Jesus, if I'm going to do a master's degree, why not do it in my passion at this point? I feel like I've learned enough business now. Like all the business stuff felt more like a necessity for what I want to do later, you know what I mean?
Just get an idea
rather than the passion. So I was like, if I'm going to do a master's, why not do it in that? So I started looking up courses. I found a strength and conditioning course in Southeast Technology University, formerly Carlow IT. And I applied for that, and I ended up getting accepted. And now I'm like 1 year into a 2-year master's there part time, doing strength and conditioning. So, and that's currently going really well, and I'm loving that. Do you know what I mean? So, and same thing, I went on to that course, and I was like, right, I've changed from business now to science. So I've changed disciplines. Same kind of concerns, doubts, worries.
From that level 6, like
they're still there. They're always there. You know what I mean? You have to keep kind of proving yourself to yourself. You never rest on your laurels.
Absolutely.
And so I tried to work really hard, and I was back working at this point. So I'm kind of working like 4 or 5 days a week, more 4 days a week, like, and it's a way less schedule. It's nothing compared to what I used to do. And during this time, I've been doing jiu-jitsu in the background, and I got into yoga as well. I got really into yoga, and ended up studying yoga. I went over to an ashram over in Holland and done the whole thing of like 250 hours now of hatha yoga and vinyasa yoga. I got really into meditation. So that was all happening during this period. And then also I was still doing jiu-jitsu the whole time.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was studying multiple things that I love doing. And the jiu-jitsu was coming along, and then it brought me up to like black belt level, and now I'm doing the master in strength and conditioning of 250 hours in yoga. And then another kind of passion thing that I'm into is sea swimming. And throughout that period of time, I started sea swimming in 2018, and I got really into that. I just felt
before it was cool as well.
Before it was cool. It's everyone's doing it, which is fantastic. I love it. It's great. So when I got into college in IDT, I made a friend in there, Ruben. Shout out to Ruben, and he. Like I was coming into class, and people like were asking me questions about swimming and all. They found out that I was going to the sea every morning. They probably thought I was mental, and I was going down to 40 foot. And then I remember Ruben was interested. Like he's kind of into like trying things and extreme stuff, and he started coming with me every morning, and it was just great. And then in fairness, it was his idea. He was like, "Why don't we set up a society, a sea swim society in the college, and we can get funding and start doing events and trying to get people in the sea." So we ended up setting up a society. We got funding. We used to like book this portable sauna in the morning down in Dunleary, go for a sauna, jump in the sea, then go to college, and you'd
magical morning,
just firing on all cylinders, ready to go. And but it was very hard trying to convince people to get in the sea, I have to say. It's such a hard sell. So maybe not now, since the lockdowns and all. I think people, it seems like it's becoming more mainstream and acceptable. Back then, 2018, people are like, "You're mental," and it's like, "Oh, I'm not doing that. I don't like cold water." And it's like, "Do you think I like cold water?"
Even living by the coast, talking to people who have lived there their whole life,
they won't get in,
and they're just like, "You're mad."
So found it very hard to convince people. But so I was doing that as well. So I was doing loads of different things that weren't about working. It was more about my passions and the things that I gravitated towards and enjoyed doing. And I just started building all these things up. So I felt like I was like building my business skills up. I was building like my yoga knowledge and like meditation, spirituality, and then I was building like strength conditioning, science, you know what I mean, fitness,
the training, personal training,
rehab, all that stuff. And then I felt like I was also building like martial arts and what martial arts offers, the discipline and all this sort of stuff, you know what I mean? And it was all just coming together into one sort of thing, and I feel like that's still what I'm in the middle of now.
The story's still ongoing.
It's still going now at the moment.
It's like a video game where you've got all these, like even like a car, like where you've got like your speed and your handling.
Totally.
Or in GTA where it was like your strength or your gun skills. So it's like you're building them all up slowly, one by one by one.
You're building your own character, like.
And they all feed. The great thing is they all overlap. They all feed into each
100%,
other
yeah,
as well.
100%.
I seen you post a picture on Instagram the other day where I think you were holding a BJJ training session.
Yeah.
Then you all went for a dip afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're just
exactly.
ticking both of them
And then I've
boxes.
some of the lads are doing yoga with me as well. They do BJJ, and you know what I mean. And then some maybe are doing strength and conditioning as well. And it's trying to bring it all into one thing. You know what I mean? Just trying to bring it all into one. Like they're all feed into each other, as you said. Like
Yeah.
and yeah, it's great. And then what else was I? I kind of lost my trail of thought there.
Yeah, we were saying you were building up.
Oh yeah, so when I finished the postgrad diploma in IIDT, just before I'd started the masters in Southeast Technology University, I registered as sole trader, started my own business, and so I went from kind of doing the back to education for those couple of years, getting funding and help, like which is like if you can get it honestly. If anyone out there now, like you need to take advantage, honestly. Like there's a degree waiting there for you. If you're unemployed right now and you want to change your career, there's so many options. You just need to go and find them, and don't be afraid to pursue and ask. Don't do you know what I mean? The help is there. People want to help you. It's there. I've first-hand experience of it.
Yeah, you're a living product. Like
so once I moved on from the back to education, there's another thing that was like it was a part-time education, or there's some other funding you can get for the Springboard one, and I got that, and it was just the same. It was just transitioned into that for a year,
where you can run as a sole trader and earn money while
studying. Yeah, it's like a part-time sort of yoke. Yeah,
and you get paid by the state.
I think if you were to be offered a role while you're doing it, you're expected to take the role. It's the only thing, but which isn't a bad thing either. You'll get a job if that's your main goal. You will get a job. You have
a safety net there.
Yeah, and then so after that, then there's a thing called Back to Work Enterprise Allowance. So I applied for that as soon as I finished my course, and then I showed the case of at that point 8 or 9 years of experience in the fitness industry. Like the yoga qualifications, it just showed everything that I've been doing the last few years, like rebuilding myself. And I've been learning the business. I've progressed to degree, post-grad, and then it's like you had to give them a business plan and go through all that, and then got accepted. So I have that. I get a 2-year grant basically to help you start up your business, and then there's workshops and seminars to teach about tax and so much. Like it's all the support. It's all there, and then there's a short-term one as well, which. That's for like 6 months, but I wanted the longer term because I kind of knew at that point I wanted to keep my education going as well. So that funding would just help the whole process because I'm not working full time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at this point, like set up the business now, I'm doing that more kind of on a part-time basis, and I'm studying part-time as well. But my main focus is still finishing the education. And obviously still, I'm teaching jiu-jitsu now. I got to point black belt, teaching jiu-jitsu, teaching yoga, doing strength and conditioning, PT, and then I'm doing neuromuscular therapy as well with people, like doing rehab and all that sort of stuff, and still studying, because at this point I'm just enjoying the learning and the push myself academically, seeing how far I can go. So it's kind of like when I finish the masters next year, all going well, and I'm considering maybe going for the PhD. We'll see.
Yeah, sports related, feeding into.
It'd probably be something based on jiu-jitsu or yoga. Or something.
Your thesis,
yeah, exactly.
That'd be an original one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, totally. So that's what I'm thinking. And that's kind of what I'm thinking with my masters as well. I kind of have a few ideas for my thesis, but I'm just trying to bring it all together into one thing.
Yeah, I'll start drawing up the business cards with Dr. Dean.
Yeah, Dr. Dean. Yeah,
that's a good ring to it.
Yeah, Dr. Dean.
The doctor,
Yeah, but I think for a lot of people, if they're not into build the idea of building their own business and their own empire, if that doesn't excite them, they don't have that entrepreneurial thing going. If that's not there, there's no having a boss and working for someone, there's no shame in that or anything. If that's the direction you're going, what I think what you need to focus on is trying to have a great boss, or one that you can get on with or tolerate to a degree that they're not making your life misery.
Yeah.
And then in return, getting the highest salary, kind of working the least amount of hours for the lowest amount of stress.
If it's something that you don't absolutely love.
If it's not your passion and it's just your career.
Likely isn't.
Which for most people it's not. If that's not your passion, then I think they're the kind of criteria you need to go for. You're trying to get the highest salary, lowest hours and lowest stress. Like the stress is huge. I think like so many people are on high salaries doing crazy hours and they're stressed out of their mind, and you're kind of like, is it worth it?
Because the more you go up the ladder, you might get a 10, 15, 20k bump in salary, but you don't get that for nothing. Never.
No, it comes at a massive price,
massive responsibility.
And it's like, you need to weigh it up. I think people, a lot of the times, just when people dangle the carrot over them, like the salary bump, they jump at it, and for many reasons. I think because of like, one is like, let's say they think they can raise their standard of living, but a lot of the times people just end up spending the extra money because they're so stressed from the extra work, and then they feel they need to fill that, whatever it is. Like, I deserve this now because of after doing a crazy week, and you end up with less money, and you're more stressed and you're not as happy. So I think sometimes, or a lot of the times, you need to assess the whole thing, not just looking at salary and hours. You need to think about what you're going to be doing day to day. What's your life going to be like when you're in this role? And do you have anything outside of that job that is a passion? Do you have hobbies or pursuits that like fill your soul and you love it and you do it for free? Do you have that in your life? And if you don't have that in your life, that's something you need to really focus on and consider. Because like, if you've no passion in your life, what's the point? Of it? You know what I mean? You need passion. And everyone has a passion. Like, some people don't know what it is, but you need to go looking for it. It's out there. We all have something that like fills us. You know what I mean? And and when we do it, we get into this type of flow state, and time just evaporates. You know what I mean? It's like, you're literally, nothing else matters anymore. All your worries, all your stress are gone, and you're just doing this thing. It could be painting, it could be drawing, it could be cycling a bike, could be running. It could be anything. It could be making a coffee. Like, you know what I mean? You could be really into coffees. Like, it could be anything. You know what I mean?
Any type of hobby. But you don't have to find that with your job. People think I'm lost. I don't know what to do with my life. They think they're going to get that need fulfilled from what they do 9 to 5 or whatever it is. But, and like you said, not everyone is in a position to set up a business. Some people, it just might not be for them. And that's the thing, you can fulfill that need. The thing you're looking for, that you feel lost about, you can find that outside of work. It doesn't have to be with your job. And coming back to the money side of it as well, you think getting the extra 10k 15k rise is going to make a difference, but if you go into the next tax bracket and space that out over a year, you know, it might be 200 or 300 euro extra. If you have 200 euro extra in your bank account after getting a pay rise, but you've taken on, you know, you're managing people and you're dependent on their performance, and that brings all kinds of stress. It's like, what is 200 euro a month? You're like, it's minuscule.
It's nothing. It's nothing. I think a part of it as well is like, people get into the idea of climbing the ladder, right? And then as you have to keep climbing. At some points in a job, like you're at, like I see this happen with people, whatever way the structure of the business is, they get to a point and they've no interest in managing people. Like, they're not into it.
Not everyone's going to be a manager. Like
and the specific tasks they're doing every day, they actually don't mind, and they enjoy some of it, and they can live with it. And they're kind of like, I can do this. This is okay. I can manage the stress. I get home, I'm grand. I have a bit of free time. You might have a family, you might have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, and it's like, this is actually all right. But they feel like they have to progress. So then they get offered a management role, and they feel they have to take it, get the salary bump to keep climbing. And I think the problem there is that for some people, sometimes you need to just stay where you are and find whatever it is you're looking for in other areas of your life. It doesn't have to always be your job. You know what I mean? And that extra bit of money, as you said, it will be nothing a lot of the times. And then an extra $5,000, like what is that really going to do for your happiness? What, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I think you need to find a passion and hobbies, and like see your friends and family, and focus on, like, there's a pie chart here. It's not all work and career. You know what I mean? If your career isn't your passion, I think you just need to try and get the highest salary for the least amount of stress. That's all you need to do. And if you're at that point already, well, that's fantastic. Now address other areas of your life. Because I think some people, they get into a job and they're not challenged anymore, and they get kind of bored, and they have it too easy. And it's like, if you reframe that, sometimes you're actually in a fantastic position. It means you've loads of time to focus on other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about the money, like. But I think what happens is people get the higher salary, then they're like, oh, I'm going to get the bigger car, I'm going to get a bigger house, I'm going to get the big TV, and they just keep buying stuff, and it just keeps growing, and they just keep going up and up and up, and like they're no happier than they were when they had the smaller house, and do you know what I mean? It's just expansion,
just an endless chase. Yeah,
expansion. It's like the higher you go up, the more responsibility and the more stress, and it's like if it's not something that's not your passion, is the trade-off worth it? You know what I mean? You need to weigh it all up, like.
Yeah, because you never get something for nothing. Like, it always comes at a price.
And you can progress. If you feel like you're stagnant, you can progress in other things. So if you started like learning the guitar or Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something, like that has a whole thing of getting better, and you can fulfill that need within you in other things without taking this new salary and working an extra 10 hours a week, and now suddenly you've no time and you're stressed.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's kind of.
And then that's the thing, like
it's your whole lifestyle.
It opens up a door, like it has for you, where you didn't start your first jiu-jitsu class going, I'm gonna, set up my own gym and start training people, make an income from it. It's just like I just stuck with it because I enjoyed it, and and this was a passion for me. But through just like going all in or just giving whatever you like doing the full shilling, like naturally people will want to pay you for the expertise that you have. So coaching is one of the easiest transitions from going from full-time in the workforce to self-employed. And you don't have to have it all. Like, for the people who think running their own ship might be for them, it's like you don't have to have it all figured out. Like you said, one client, if you over deliver for one client and you get that testimonial, and you just build from there, just like you built from one client.
100%, yeah.
That's
100%.
all it takes. But it's gonna be, if it's something that means something to you, it's more likely that will be the outcome if it's something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Because the people that fall off, let's say, me and you start jiu-jitsu together, but I just don't like it as much as you. It's going to be more stress for me to show up to training every day. It's going to be more stress for me to just stick around versus you, who's just having the time of your life. And just naturally over 10 years you're going to be way further along than someone who doesn't enjoy it as much. So that's why we're focusing so much on the fact that try and find what it is that you like doing.
100%. And I think if you're in a position now that you're really not enjoying your job, like, it's never too late to take a step back and change careers. Like, I think it's becoming more common now for people to change careers over time and have multiple careers, like over a 20 or 30 year period. Like, think back, like my granddad used to work in Aer Lingus years ago, and he worked for like, I think it was like 38 or 39 years for Aer Lingus, and those days are kind of gone now. And I think some people feel like if they've done 8 or 10 years into a career, like they're accountant or a lawyer, and they hate it and they want to change, but they feel like they've wasted all those years. It's like, you haven't wasted any of it. All that's happened is you've built up all this experience and knowledge and a skill set that will help you in your next endeavor. You're not starting at zero. You have this 10 years of experience behind you now that you wouldn't have had previously. And you have a skill set that will be transferable to so many other industries. Everything. Literally. Literally everything. Like
if you wanted to go into tech,
you
don't need to have tech skills. You could manage people. You could be the product manager, say.
Totally.
Even if you don't have the direct skill, so it doesn't matter. It goes into every industry.
No, absolutely. Like, it's like, I just think that I see that with people. They just feel like it's too late to change or too late to start, and it's never too late to change your career, and it's never too late to start a new hobby either. You know what I mean? Like, I started jiu-jitsu when I was 24, and like that's like, for a lot of people that's too late. Like, people, I can't start something new at 24, and it's like, now I'm 30, nearly 31, I'm black belt. You know what I mean? So like, time is going to pass. We're going to get older. You might as well try things and do them and see what happens. Like, expose yourself to as many things as possible. You've only one life. Why keep yourself in this little narrow, like, rigid kind of like bubble of no new experiences. Why do that? Like, expose yourself to as much things as possible, and you surprise yourself what you're capable of and what you actually enjoy.
Yeah, and what you'll find out there.
Like,
and try not to get defined by your job title, because that's imaginary.
Another thing. Yeah, that's all. Like, I had a problem with that, especially when I stopped working for that period of time. Like, definitely had like a crisis. Like, because I identified
that's who I am.
Yeah, my whole being was tied up in being a personal trainer and all my clients and all this and that, and like that was hard. That was like a debt in a way. Do you know what I mean? Letting go of that,
like shedding.
Like it's very hard. Like but I think that happens to people when they're trying to change career. They've been the accountant for 10 years and it's who they are, and it's like it's not who you are. It's just something you've done. It's not who you are. You know what I mean? It's not who you are at all. It's just what you do. Like, I think that's a good point.
So try not to get your self-worth from just what you do to earn a living. But I think that's a good place to
brilliant
to put the brakes on for the next one. But if people want to hear or see more from you, how can they get in touch, or how can they see what you do on Instagram?
Just Instagram, Lifestyle Monks. I think that's it for now anyway. There was a website, but it'll be back up eventually, but I'm doing too many things at the moment. I just couldn't give it the effort that I feel it deserves at the moment, so I had to kind of make a sacrifice and just focus on kind of the education and that at the moment.
Prioritize.
So you can only spin so many plates.
Like you've learned.
You know what I mean? I don't want to burn out, so I was kind of starting to feel that again. So I've just reduced my focus on the smaller things. So Instagram's probably the best spot. Lifestyle Monks. That's it.
Cool.
Thanks for having us on. Anyway, cheers.
Great man.
Brilliant.
Take care. Right.